need to talk about this next person. I have to pivot yet again because there's a comment about it, and it was something that we've talked about and has been talked about, and it was not the Jrue, the correct Jrue of the night. There was somebody that overshadowed the Jrue game. Jrue Holiday, guys. Now, this is a guy that is 35 years old. We just freshly extended his contract. He is coming off of an 82-game season, NBA Finals run that goes into June, a couple weeks off, and then an Olympic gold medalist run straight into training camp. Mind you, 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this Jrue Holiday that we are seeing is the Jrue Holiday we are going to get, or will it get better?
I think. Oh, geez, dude.
We don't want to admit that Jrue Holiday. We don't want to go, oh well, he's 35. Looks like he's cooked. Looks like he's cooked. Now, I wouldn't say he's cooked necessarily, but definitely
you can tell the
like
regression.
35-year-old this year than he did last year.
You can tell. And you know what? I hate to say this. Hate to call him out, Al. Like I feel as if tonight if there was a game that showed their age, it would be tonight. And you look at Jrue, and when he gets around the rim, I almost kind of cringe now because this year he has been not good around the rim. He has not been good. He drove twice tonight on Evan Mobley, and there was no prayer. There was no prayer that he would even get it going towards the basket. And he still shot it. And I just, man, like, I don't know. It could, and this is a game we needed Jrue. This was a game if we needed Jrue Holiday to put the ball in the net, it was tonight. And I'm gonna refuse to believe that Jrue Holiday and Al Horford are both aging. I'm gonna refuse it because tomorrow night they both can drop 40 points, and I'm gonna sit here and tell them, "Oh, see, I told you, like these guys are good, these guys are fine. This is nothing. They're just a rough stretch." So, but I will say, and I was gonna mention this earlier, if there was a game that showed the age of Al Horford and Jrue Holiday, it was tonight. And I'm a little bit afraid because there's no progression anymore. This is like 2K. No progression on year 17, 18. It is only degression,
Right.
Yeah, and I think tonight's matchup, I agree with you, Justin, that it definitely showed the ages of Al Horford and Jrue Holiday from the standpoint of the Cavs. They're a very quick team. They have young, quick forwards, young, quick guards.
Yep.
And Al Horford and Jrue Holiday, they're maybe not at the quickest stage of their careers right now. And we don't want to admit that, they're aging to a point where they're going to be liabilities for the Celtics because they still bring a lot of value to the Celtics out on the floor. I mean, Jrue Holiday, he did have 5 assists tonight, which that's very good, but 2 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 9. He was 0 of 3 from 3. I mean, last season, the picture of Jrue Holiday that I have, other than him just hounding other teams on the defensive end of the floor, hounding other guards, the East's best guard is, yes. Thank you, Rob. You literally did it before me. I was getting ready to do this. I'm like, right here, the 3 going down the court, wide open. Oh, Jrue Holiday with the trailer. Oh, Jrue Holiday in the corner hitting the big 3 down the stretch. And this season so far, that really hasn't happened. Maybe in 1 or 2 games. Maybe
Right.
1 or 2 games he's had a big shot. But in terms of consistently making threes, and especially around the bucket, I mean, he was 2 of 9 tonight. 0 of 3 from 3. So that means he's 2 of 6 from 2. 2 of 6, which most of his shots from 2, where are they coming from? They're layups. He's not really taking mid-range shots, and they're mostly layups and floaters. And if he's not hitting those attempts, it's like, this is a little rough. It's a little rough.
Well, do you think that is the reason why we've seen Peyton Pritchard so much down the stretch? We've seen Peyton Pritchard's minutes increase tremendously. I think he played 36 minutes tonight, which was the second most minutes tonight in the box score for a Boston Celtic behind Jason Tatum. Do you guys think that that's why we've seen so much Peyton Pritchard because of the regression of Jrue Holiday? Or do you think it's because Peyton Pritchard's been hot? Do you think Mazzulla's seeing the same thing we're seeing?
Let me throw a stat.
Both.
Let me throw out a stat real quick, guys. Right? Last year, Jrue Holiday shot a league's best 60% from that right corner. This year, it is down to 35%. 25%.
Yeah. Okay. Listen,
that's terrible.
Okay, that's not good. That's not good. Like that's almost a 30% decrease. But can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you though? 60% is historic.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. 35% isn't awful, but
okay, let's get off our high horses here and act like 35% on a regular season, like that's not terrible. That is not
right.
Okay, so let's stop making it sound like 60% was just like,
but
this guy.
It's still the decrease. It's the decrease too. It really is that decrease.
Also, it is the decrease, but also
25%. So it's a third of it.
Correct, but how many games did he shoot 60%? And how many games are we into right now? Right.
That's true. So here's my thing with Jrue. There's
I'm fighting for you, baby.
There's a couple factors with Jrue, right? One, the contract, right? That contract you just gave him is hefty. It's a big boy.
Why would you give him?
Well, here's my thing, right? So one, the contract, right? Two, defensively, Jrue Holiday is still a core piece to what Boston does, right? Yes, he's slowed down in his ability to guard the quick perimeter, guards, but still, from a help standpoint, from a matchup standpoint, Jrue Holiday defensively, his value is still clear as day on Boston, right? That third one is his offensive production. Right now, Jrue Holiday, right now, there's a correlation. He's tired, he's old, his legs are gone, his shot's not falling, right? It's a simple equation, right? It's when you are tired and your legs are tired, right? Your shot's not gonna be at the best peak performance. I think right now, what we need from Jrue Holiday is for him to stay healthy and get to the All-Star break. And I know we're only December 1st, and it's crazy to say that, but I think we see a much different Jrue Holiday post All-Star break, because right now I think Jrue Holiday, right? Yes, the age, but let's not just 5 months ago, right? Yes, age, and that's a thing. Just 5 months ago, he was the key piece in an Eastern Conference Finals matchup to send us to the NBA Finals, right? Like Jrue Holiday in that Pacers series, guys, was arguably our best player on both ends of the ball. So this is a player where I just think you got to let it play out. Again, back to your Peyton Pritchard point, excuse me, just real quick. Sorry. That's a good thing, right? You have Pritchard you can lean on right now. Pritchard's hooping. Give Holiday time. His legs are going to come back. But right now, it's ugly. In that contract, it does not help.
It's so funny. And this isn't even a basketball point. This is in this kind of life, too. It's so funny how, and I said this before, we're sitting here talking about Jrue Holiday at 35 years old. Like this poor guy is about to go into a nursing home, and he's at the end stages of his life. No, he's 35 years old, okay? Jrue Holiday can retire right now and have between 50 and 60 years, maybe even more than that, with all these athletes and how healthy they are and how well they keep their bodies in shape. This guy has incredible amounts of life left. So Jrue Holiday, you are not close to ending. Like, it's just so funny.
You're going so deep.
I don't
my
think
goodness.
that was where we were going. I don't think that's the direction.
Well, it's like, oh man, his body's slowing down. It's like 35 years old.
Right, but from an NBA standpoint.
I know
we're
that.
not talking about death, Justin.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Guys, let's calm down. He's still got a long life ahead of him.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, we're here. Right. Like, that's a weird thing about sports is like we're here talking about a 35-year-old like he's at the end of his like he's at the end of his life. But like in reality, like this dude's like 35 years old. We have people like who would kill to be 35 years old. Like, oh man, like this guy's a freak athlete, like 35 years old. And then we're talking about Jrue Holiday at 35 years old, like, man, like he's really slowing down his body. He just really doesn't look good. Like he's just slowing down. So it's just funny how we talk about 35 and like compare like 35 in sports is like you're just done. You're toast. And 35 in life is like you're just getting started. So,
but not necessarily. LeBron won a chance. And I don't want to get too off topic here, but Jrue's got time. LeBron won his last ring at 35.
Jrue has time.
Yes, there is. I'm not out on the Jrue Holiday train by any means yet.
But I do, Rob, want to mention this because we kind of talked about this with the big man depth. And tonight on a first night of a back-to-back, I was a little bit surprised to see both men,
Horford and Porzingis
playing.
Yeah.
But that's not my point. My point is tonight we saw Luke Cornett instead of Nemanja Keita. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we saw a lot of Nimi, and we didn't see any Luke Cornett. Nimi got caught in a lot of switches, a lot of backdoor cuts. Nimi just had a treacherous game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, got exposed tremendously in that game. Luke Cornett didn't play like fantastically great, didn't play like fantastically horrible. But I did want to kind of just like point that out. Like it does seem as if Joe Mazzulla really, really took advantage tonight and put you saw it. You could definitely tell that it was evident Nimi struggled tremendously against the Cavaliers. DN played a ton of minutes the other night. DNP tonight. Seamus, did you pick up on that? Because that was a conversation you and I had on a post-game show recently when talking about switching these two big guys.
Well, I'm going to make a point here that's kind of outside of this game, but it's still going to relate, is when people think there's no competitiveness in the NBA, the Celtics just prove them completely wrong right now, because if you are not playing up to par as an NBA player or well against certain matchups, like we saw Keita against the Cavaliers a couple of weeks ago, or like we've seen Jrue Holiday recently, we're seeing more Peyton Pritchard down the stretch more than Jrue Holiday. If you are not playing well, it doesn't matter what your name is or how many minutes you had before in prior games. You're going to be replaced with somebody the coach or whoever is making the decisions behind the scenes believes is going to give the team the best chance to win. That's just simply what's going to happen. And tonight, very heavy Horford and Porzingis game going up against Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, but not only going up against those two big guys, elite big guys to add on to that, but the quick guards that the Cavaliers have out on the floor. If you put out Keita, they're going to want to get that switch out on the perimeter, and boom, Darius Garland, boom, Donovan Mitchell. They're going to be going straight downhill at him, penetrating the paint, bringing the help over, and all of a sudden, boom, perimeter shots all over the floor, falling for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So tonight, not exactly a Keita matchup by any metric whatsoever, and the Celtics really needed to go to Horford and Porzingis more often. And Cornette, yeah, they brought him out there a little bit, but he only really played 8.5 minutes, and he was solid for those 8.5 minutes. But he kind of brings that same deficit to the Celtics lineup as Keita at times, although more experienced and more sound. Where if you're pulling him out to the perimeter, he's going to get blown by, and he's not exactly the best perimeter defender. But when you had Jared Allen out there, and when you didn't really quite have Evan Mobley out there, who's a little bit more perimeter oriented, can hit that mid range a little bit more, can hit those outside shots just a little bit better than Jared Allen, of course, a lot better, I should say. That's when they put in Cornette, and that's when Cornette got his minutes. But tonight, it really does look, it does, I don't want to say expose the Celtics big man depth, because the Celtics really have some of the best big man depth in the entire NBA. It's just when you get past Horford, Porzingis, and even I would say Tillman. I was a little surprised we didn't see Tillman out there tonight, if he was even active. I mean,
He was
I
available.
didn't see him.
He was. DMP.
Right. I don't remember seeing him on the injury report. And I'm a little surprised we didn't see him a little bit more out there tonight, or really at all. He didn't play at all. But outside of those guys, you're looking at Cornette and Keita. It's like they're going to have a couple of mismatch problems against certain teams. We saw that against the Timberwolves, and then going into the Clippers game, and then going into the Bulls game. It's like, okay, when Vucevic wasn't out on the floor, that's when they brought in Keita. And tonight, we have the data from a couple weeks ago suggesting cannot quite play Keita against this matchup in heavy minutes, and we simply didn't go to him tonight. And again, I wanted to make a point at the beginning. It's taking off screen here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're
all
still
right.
in this. I don't know why. I don't know why we can't.
All right, there we go.
That was weird.
This kind of goes in with the point of the NBA is still competitive, folks. But a lot of people want to say the NBA isn't competitive, but the point is, if you're not playing well or you're not matching up well, you're going to be replaced. And we've seen that with Keita. And of course, going into another conversation, we've seen that a little bit with Jrue Holiday and Peyton Pritchard as well. So 2 points there on the big man depth and just competitiveness in the NBA that people believe is no longer around, which is false.
Right.